Right then, welcome to my pretty perfect perter posterior session plan based on most of my clients' requests for more ass jack. So this is a screenshot of what a typical workout plan would look like for clients, where all of these underlined phrases are links to resources that they have access to. Each of these would go through to a video example of how I set the exercise up and my form. And then also we've got things like a video folder, A to Z library that give you the video example, the muscles worked, and then alternative exercises should you not have access to it for whatever reason in your gym. Why I think this session is particularly good is because you should be able to perform all of the exercises in most gyms. It should take you about 60 minutes to do. I don't want you hanging around. And also in terms of building muscle, we know that we should go for peak contraction and we should go for stretching, where muscles under load have what's known as a hypertrophy mediated response to this kind of stretch. So where working muscles anyway can cause them to grow, actually stretching them under load could cause them to grow as well. So making the most of these different responses that we're seeing in the literature as well. We want to grow our glutes. It's a posterior focus session, so we put our glute exercises at the top while we're fresh, while all of our muscles are fresh. Yeah, our resources go towards repairing the muscles that have been worked with most intensity and typically earliest in the workout. In terms of the actual work, just so you understand this sheet, suggested warm-up sets. So after your general warm-up, where cardio 6 out of 10 effort, 5 to 10 minutes, you then have feeder sets. Typically, you could have an approach where you do high reps with low weight, and then every time you go closer towards the working weight, you reduce the reps while increasing the weight, if that makes sense. When it comes to the actual work, here we've got 2 working sets in a rep range of 10 to 20. And in week 1, the intensity is 3 reps in reserve. Reps in reserve is how many reps you've got left in the tank before failure. So if you did 10 reps at an intensity of 3 RIR, that would mean that failure was 13 reps in that session. In the next week, I would want you to go to 11 reps, so your RIR would be 2. The week after that, you do 12 reps, RIR is 1, and then potentially on exercises where it's safe to do it, I think all of these exercises, apart from hyperextensions, I would take to failure. You'd go for those 13 reps. You'd have 0 reps in reserve. Give me a shout if you want further clarification on that. In terms of the exercises themselves, we've got the cast glute bridge, which is the shortened range hip thrust. This gets us that peak contraction. So hopefully you've come across this before. I like to set it up where the weight is already taken off the floor, and then I keep that constant tension on my glutes throughout the set. From there, we have step-ups. So where cast glute bridges got us that peak contraction, with step-ups, we've got the glute on a stretch as we start at this lower point. And we have our back foot tap the floor, ideally just working through the front leg. If you've done Bulgarian split squats, this is quite a nice progression as we're working vertically as much as going forwards. The next exercise is one that you should have seen in most gyms, is hip abduction. Really going for that peak squeeze laterally. Working through the glute medius. The other exercises have really hit the glute max. Glute medius is the booty shelf. So this is a great exercise to throw in, and if you don't have a hip abduction machine, you can do this with bands around your knees. Just having a big bum isn't, to my mind, as aesthetic as having that kind of nice belly through the hamstrings. So if you've got the shape of your glutes and then you've got the curve of the hamstrings, that to me is a more aesthetically pleasing posterior chain. Hamstrings obviously massive in terms of keeping us upright and allowing us to move around the world. Love seated leg curls, and these are complemented really nicely by hyperextensions. So where in the leg curls you can get that big squeeze, in the weighted hyperextensions you get the big stretch, again going through the glutes, going through the hamstrings, a little bit of low back work, and finishing with bird dog, perhaps my favorite core exercise, as you get the big ab crunch and stretch.